Epicast, we're for the children.
All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucks laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, singing, all that shit, dog. You sweating.
I remember
None of this
shit. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, welcome to the resurgence, the revamp, the relaunch, the we down here and we ain't scared episode of Drinking Partners. I don't know if this is still Quarentimes or not. We still in it. They just threw the Omicron variant out, which is fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Because, all right, Omicron is my fraternity. That's the chapter that I came through in my fraternity. It's the 13th letter, right?
Oh.
I didn't know that they was naming the variants Greek letters.
Yeah.
So we went from Delta to Omicron. There's like 9 motherfuckers in between that we just don't know nothing about. So we probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, that's a planet on Futurama, man. That sound like a straight invasion type shit, man. Like it's when the Omicrons come in.
Now that made me
start
feel
packing
a little,
up, man. You know what I'm saying? So this is a pocket right now. I don't know how many of these episodes we got going, but
we're putting our lives on the line for y'all.
Right now.
We got tired of y'all running down on us, asking us if we were still doing it, when we gonna release another episode. So we here, putting our life on the line. I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. Man, I don't even know. So long we've been asking y'all. And you know what? We gonna continue to ask you. I mean, pandemic or not, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we continue to do well. And that's how we let others know that we're doing well. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Listen, you love us. You used to see us out. You see us out a little bit more now. You came to the fest, all that. And you continue to tell us that you love us. But we need you to, at the click of a button, please tell the internet. Please tell the world. Please tell us that you fucks with us. And tell us who you want us to see, right? So we're probably near or above 300 episodes.
Somewhere.
We don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of running out of ideas. So like if you know some people that you think should have, their message signal boosted on the podcast, let us know. Let us know what you liked about the last episode you listened to. Let us know if you like some shit that we did on that episode. Just give us some feedback so we can continue to improve. All right. And as always, and shout out to Car Guy DJ or James Logba. I don't know what he is now on the internet. And the Conways. Congrats to them. They just had that bay. As always, in lieu of rates and reviews, we still accept shots of Hennessy. We done upgraded. We do scotch now. You know what I'm saying? Some Glenlivet, whatever you like. You know what I'm saying? Well, we bougie. We bougie Negroes. We Bigros. You know what I'm saying? At the click of the internet, tell the world, give us shots of Hennessy. Come out and see us, man, because we kind of back in action too. You know what I'm saying? In our next installment of our first installment of the next installment, Cinderland's Fooder House. Is that how it's
the Fooder, the Fouder House, the Fouder? I don't even know,
because it's a different language, but you read
every
it in
time
English.
You talk to somebody say it different. I mean, we out in Lawrenceville. Down in
Butler
Cinderlands.
Street.
Somewhere on Butler Street, man. Come through. They got beer that's been in some old wood. They got burgers, some of the best burgers in the city. That Smash Burger, is on point. They've got some tasty ales and whatnot, and we got jokes. And we got music. Some of the best in the city. DJ Aesthetics is coming on the ones and twos. Last show was pretty dope.
I don't know if they still ones and twos.
Are they ones? I don't even know. I don't even know what.
This might
if
be
you
the fifth generation.
What the one or the two was, I never knew what it was.
They the 8s and 9s by now.
Right. I still call them iPods. I ain't never owned an Apple device, but if it plays music, it's an iPod.
Ones and twos is when they were scratching. They ain't scratching no more. Now you just blending, or you got your shit already put together. You already know what you're doing for your 4 hours.
It's mixtape 1 and mixtape 2. We had DJ Ari Cole last time, came through and killed it or whatever. And like I said, DJ Aesthetics up next. Ed Bailey shutting it down. And then we got what? Amanda Averill and Averell, and Shannon Norman. Some of the greats here in the city. So come through. It's only about 40 seats. Real intimate affair. You need your vaccine, man. I don't know what you doing and how you still listen to this and you ain't man, go get your fucking vaccine. They keep, they want us to tell you that, we accept negative tests, but who the fuck is getting tested every week to go out. You know what I mean? Like, is that your
NFL
lifestyle?
players, I think. I ain't getting tested to go to Walgreens. I ain't getting tested to go to one of my shows, and I love me on stage. Fuck, to just be vaxxed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Vax up or back up. Like, get your shit together. We on Omicron. Do you understand how deep in the alphabet that is? That's some shit that I just learned this 2 days ago, so it's fucking.
I just got boosted up 2 days ago, so yeah, I mean, shit. That Omicron dropped, and so I was right in that Walmart line. Like, shit, you gonna have to catch me. So, you know, shout out to Dolly Parton keeping us safe with the Moderna, Mo Diddley Derna out there. You know what I mean?
Mo Diddley. New mixtape about the vax. Listen, man, December 16th, Cinderland's Fatter, whatever, man. We got beer, we got burgers, and we got Bailey. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a return to the stage because damn it, I'm funny and I miss this shit. And I need a reason to get out the house. I've been in the house with these people too long. Love my family. Love this episode that we about to do, right? This is a family affair, right? This is I like to refer to them as Pittsburgh's Black first family or first black. How do we do that? Like, it's like the political family that's like, they like the first family.
The Royal Blacks.
The Royal Blacks.
Yeah, I mean, you got Royal
y'all like
Blues,
the Royal Blacks?
You got the Royal Blacks.
Yo, you know your family is important when you just known as your last name. You know what I'm saying? We have the Comans in the building. Like, that's
also for your last name, not your first.
Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? But hold on, let's just run down a little bit of the resume because we have Wilkinsburg Mayor-elect Dontae Comans, all right, and then we have his wife, you know what I'm saying, what is it, District 24 state rep candidate, all right, former Wilkinsburg School District Director.
Yes.
We gonna ask you about what all of any of that means, okay? But we got the Comans in the building. Say what up to the people.
What up?
What's up? Thanks for having us. I'm over here cracking up like, don't laugh
Yeah, this
too
is
loud.
my second time here, but you know, first time with my wife.
With your other hat.
Yeah. So this is, it's official.
Excited to be here.
Y'all been official. Y'all been like the poster child for Black love. I really do enjoy seeing how much you support each other and how much you feed off of each other and kind of build on what the other one's doing. And then all of a sudden, like, it's become this thing. You got the mayor-elect, you got you. We pulling for you. You know what I'm saying?
I love that because it's the pot calling the kettle because, you know.
Nah. So if y'all are like,
y'all some Black love.
If y'all Jay
y'all
and
hold
Bade,
it down.
If y'all Jay and Bade, then me and wifey is like Kanye and Kim. Like she Ye, I'm Kim, right? Like, you can't deny the success,
they all
but it's one person that you like, we don't quite want you at the table.
They all billionaires.
I would have at least gave y'all Alicia and Swiss Beats. I'd at least gave y'all that.
No, because that was a little scandalous, though, the way that came about.
I forgot about that.
We still looking for Mashonda.
They all cool. They cool.
No, they're not. They rich. They all rich.
They rich, so they cohabitate. They exist together.
They coexist. That I respect.
Yeah, man, but I respect y'all, and I'm just so happy to be here with my babes.
Yeah, I mean, y'all,
I'm not being forced either.
Yeah, I mean, y'all, you have some ties, in the city throughout, podcasting, comedy, politics, nonprofits and things of that nature, around. I mean, I guess so. I don't know how to, where to even go first. I guess Ashley, like, where. How did you get into politics? 'Cause I know you ran. I got introduced to you when you was running Summer Lee's campaign.
Yeah,
right?
I was working with Summer. So Summer, I ran for school board, and I do this every time. So I ran for school board in 2017. She ran for state rep, District 34, 2018. Shameless plug, Summer Lee for Congress.
Yes.
Also, so my involvement in politics, it's kind of untraditional. This is a me and Summer like connection. Like, we always thought we were going to be Oprah. We went to school to be journalists and reporters and tell stories. And while I actually got into the space of working in local TV, I worked at WPXI. I was always interested in like the politics of reporting. Your MSNBCs, your Rachel Meadows, your of course, the name slips me now. Kristen Welker, the folks who were reporting on what was happening. And then 2016 happened. And I was like, oh, shit. I was stepping out of, being in the media space. I was working in corporate America. And I was like, this ain't it. Like, I'm not giving to my community in the way I feel is best. And as cliche as it sounds, listened to Obama's last speech in Chicago, and he said, if you don't like what you see, and get a clipboard and get your own signatures and run. And I was like, all right. And got involved locally in Wilkinsburg. There was an upcoming campaign. I was quickly informed petitions were happening in 2 weeks. And here's the thing, too. In a neighborhood like Wilkinsburg, you only need 10 signatures to get on the ballot. So when you actually get involved and you see like, oh, wait, I can go talk to my neighbors that I live next door to and be like, hey, can you sign my petition? Especially when you're involved in your community and you just speak to the people you live next to. That's why we also love Wilkinsburg. It's such a community. We know our neighbors. We've lived on multiple streets now in Wilkinsburg, and, you know, we've built relationships with the people that we've lived by. And so I ran for school board and won, and it hit. You know, it was one of those things where you're like, oh, this is what all that work was for. Like,
I mean, anybody that ever sold candy as a kid knows what it's like to go petition. It's just like, hey, knock on the door. It's wild, man. These kids these days, they just like, their parents just like do all the selling now. They hit me up like, hey, yo, my kid's selling candy. I'm like, yo, tell that motherfucker to show up to the store like that. Dude, you always like, oh, you need to sell these? Oh, they need booster tickets. Well, we better boost your ass out to these neighbors and ask them for the. Like, they got it easy these days.
They be sending text messages now. Like.
Yeah, they have a link for the Girl Scout cookies. They just send you the link, and the kid gets all the credit.
They got that link because people like me, because I wasn't out actively selling that candy. Why did you give me this candy on consignment? I didn't ask for this. You fucked up. You knew I was an addict. You knew what it was with me.
Yeah, that's so...
Like Uncle Ace and Mitch.
No, I love Wilkins. My dad used to be a cop over at Wilkinsburg or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of history there. But it always has been like that. It's had that kind of neighborhood vibe in it. You know, it's been a while. But, I mean, and it was always that debate, like, is it Pittsburgh? Is it not Pittsburgh or whatever?
It's not.
But it always maintained, like, its own, identity outside of that.
We call it like the city of trees. Like, we're very green in our community. And I technically am a suburban kid. You know, I went to Woodland Hills. I've never been a city of Pittsburgh resident. When Dontae and I dated, I would spend the night in the city of Pittsburgh, but I never voted in the city of Pittsburgh. I've been a registered voter in Wilkinsburg all my life until I went to college. And then... Yeah, I always say I think Wilkinsburg is a little bit more suburban than it is city, but we're just connected to the city geographically, and we have a city zip code like many of us in the greater Pittsburgh area. So, yeah.
Y'all got that zip code that pretty much touches every neighborhood. Though. That 221 is like how many? Like 12 neighborhoods?
It's a good 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just learned a few more neighborhoods, like Braddock Hills got some 15221 in it.
Yeah.
I got a homegirl that just was elected for council out there, and 15221's not little.
Poppin'.
It ain't just Wilkinsburg.
I have to filter. We looking for a crib, so I have to look and see what school district it is to see where the property's located in 15221.
So do you have to, now that you're mayor-elect, you have to maintain a residence in Wilkinsburg, right? So that does, that house search is probably...
Yeah, it's and it's hard out there, man. As soon as you look at a house, someone's already put a bed in it.
Yeah. Well, you got to tell them who's looking. You got status now. Now, how? You got to tell them what bid that is. You know what I'm saying?
That is a great story. Like, I sold my house to the mayor.
There you go. I'm just saying. So now, how did that come about? So you are 2016. You get motivated. You get involved. Ashley.
Yeah.
Prior to 2016, were you involved in politics? As long as I've known you, you've been active. I've seen, but it was more community activism, right? Like you'd seem like the dude that coached the local football team.
I would rather help somewhere smaller, but until she did the school board and then she got pregnant and transitioned, then I ran for school board and won. I had no clue I'd run for mayor. Like that was the last thing I would have ever thought. And but when everything was coming along and people weren't running, it's like it only makes sense. Like, if you want something done, in good faith, you gotta do that shit yourself a lot of time.
Yeah, and it's if you see a void, instead of being like, why don't somebody feel it? You feel it yourself, and that's kind of crazy because you don't. I think that's a real servant of the people, somebody that reluctantly seeks power because there's a need for some change or something to happen. You're like, I don't want to be the one, but damn it.
Especially when it's no pay. Like,
yeah, right.
It's like I could see if it was like if I was the city of Pittsburgh where they making over 100. What Purdue was making like 117 a year. I could see if it was something like that. But
I was talking to Sade. She was like, I think she told me she make like $15 a month, like to be in the mayor.
Why would you? That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful as hell to put on
I think ours is like 200.
Then my Netflix is that.
Yeah, it's like 200 a month for I think we'll get. So it helped me with my cell phone bill. That's
you go treat yourself for a nice burger.
That's you get you some sneakers. That's 12 pairs of sneakers. All of a sudden your shoe game crazy. You be the shoe game man.
I'm gonna write Wilkinsburg on every pair in the marker.
Oh, okay, there you go.
That's a thing. I like that. That could be a thing right there.
But then again, they're like, damn, this nigga's using his check to buy shoes.
You can't say that when the check is $200.
Yeah, when that's the only thing you can get with the check, then you tell me what
the only time you get paid $200 and somebody could question your decisions is when it was your allowance.
Right.
When your mama had your allowance.
And people going to what they don't know them to go get tested. They go be the
test tell everything. So.
Yeah, but I felt like the best person to represent it will be me. The people that were running were just like, you know what? You could tell if some people are doing it for self. So I feel like I had a bigger calling.
I agree.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say I was very encouraging of getting Dontae to see that this is something that I think he just has the personality for, because in a community like Wilkinsburg, like you mentioned, speaking with Mayor Sade, it's like, there's influence. There isn't really power. And the type of spirit that Dontae has and the genuine love that he just exudes to everyone is literally what our community needs to be able to see with a lot of the hard decisions that we have to begin to make as a community together. Having someone that people can feel like is trustworthy is important, instead of it seeming like it's someone who's looking for an opportunity to just propel their personal selves, and that's just not who he is. And I told him, like, if he ain't the next mayor, I don't know if we still want to be residents,
Right.
So
because I know if it would have went another way, we'd have probably went to Morova or something. Somewhere else. I know it wouldn't have been the city, but it would have been somewhere else.
So what is it? What is it that Wilkinsburg needs that you feel you can come in and offer? We
need that outlook from the outside. Within we see how we're not broke. The borough, we're in the black, or school districts in the black, or police department is in the black. Only thing that we really not are getting help with is our main drag, like Penn Avenue or downtown area.
Well, they did the tax abatements, didn't they? Like to redo the storefronts.
You have to, you have to apply for those.
Okay.
And get approved. So we got blighted home problem. The same thing that's just with the city is just gets amplified so much because the statistics are being compared to the city. Like we got 15,000, they got 300,000. So they say like more blight is here percentages. It's like you just can't look at it the same, but we have to get people to see the beauty from within so they can invest with us. We just lowered our taxes for the second time in 5 years. First when Ashley was on the school board, and now when I'm on the school board. So now we actually are in a position to compete, because people, they look at Wilkinsburg and they always jump over us and go to move to Penn Hills or
Penn Hills is
Moroville or and they just moving in these places thinking like
big.
It's like, all right, we're gonna get these lower taxes. But it's like, now I feel like we can compete.
Yeah, and I think I want to add on to that too, because you're touching on it when it comes to perception of our community. Even when we speak with like young people, I think it's so important to listen to what our kids are saying, because when our kids aren't proud to talk about the neighborhoods they're from because of what they're hearing, that comes from us, the adults, and how we're also speaking about our communities. And we tell people all the time, like, Bellamy is going to Wilkinsburg Elementary School's next school year to start pre-K. And we are very confident in that choice and the quality of education that she is going to be receiving. And I think in addition to the blighted properties, the businesses, our biggest struggle in Wilkinsburg, in my opinion, is our school district. And so I think if we really have full context conversations about what we're capable of offering young people in comparison to some other school options, and parents are able to make a more informed decision about where they're sending their kid. A lot of times it's like, I ain't sending my kid to Wilkinsburg because of the perception that they think there is of the school until you step inside the school. When we reopened our newly renovated Turner Elementary School, it gets me emotional.
She political, bro. You see how she dropping a little, okay.
The kids, when they walked into the school, I heard with my own ears, they did this for us. That matters. These kids are watching us. They're paying attention to how we treat them, how we talk to them, and how we set these environments up for them. And so if we as the adults don't allow ourselves to lift ourselves up and be better than what history has shown us, we're going to stay in the same place. So I'm always trying to let people know, and we've been having these conversations because this is a big thing on the table. I'm sure you all will bring up in the show. Wilkinsburg has the opportunity to do something, but it's going to take the people to want to invest in their own community.
So I think you can tie those 2 points together, right? Because when you as homeowners, when you're searching for a home, you're thinking about school district, and and I know there's been that conversation. Wifey ran, for school board.
Yeah.
It was this whole conversation about charters and how they stealing the children, and the way to stop that is to improve the schools. And so Wilkinsburg, from my understanding now, it's been targeted by investors a lot too, more recently. So how do you? So there are eyes on it. People see value in it, but how do you get the people who want to invest in a manner in which they're going to stay, and become inhabitants of the community, as opposed to, I can buy this dilapidated house for $35, fix it up and flip it for $200-$300, because Wilkinsburg has large houses, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm in the city. Yeah, I'm in the city, but it's like a small house because you on this heavily crowded street. Wilkinsburg be having nice, large-ass houses.
There's a crib in Regent Square that just sold for $800,000.
Right? But see, Regent Square... Are you mayor of Regent Square?
What is
that?
Yeah. Part of it,
because part of Black Ridge and Regent Square are Wilkinsburg.
But they brand it as something different.
Yes.
So how do we? How do you almost East End it? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is, I guess, with the school. As long as the schools are good, then people will be like, all right, I can go there. So do you fight that as a mayor, and you as a state rep? How do you all approach that?
Well, I fight that on a daily already as a school board director, just like Ashley did, because you're saying with the charter schools. I wasn't aware, but she let me know, they spend millions on advertisement for these charter schools. They go to the hoods and they promote, come to us. And the school districts, they don't have commercials. Wilkinsburg, we just start playing a commercial on WTA.
Because school is come here because you live around the way.
Yeah. Instead of now we're just trying to show the value, our children are published authors. They're publishing kids' books and putting in the library, letting the families purchase it. They split up the schools, so the younger, the older kids aren't intertwined. Yeah, so they're they don't have to worry about this bigger kid's bullying on me and everything, even just because you're in his face every day, he's gonna push you. That's not bullying you, but you don't have to worry about that. And it's just set up perfect, man. We have the small classrooms. We just added Spanish, so it's give us a chance. We are just K through 6. But after that, they can go to magnet schools, and we're giving them Spanish so they can be well equipped when they apply. They don't have to worry about playing catch up when they already are doing everything they need to be right.
So now that you're a mayor, do you know all the mayors? Is there a club that you go to? Do you get a card and shit that you just get to walk around? Is there you get pulled over? You be like, I'm sold it, sir. Hold on, sir.
I don't think you know.
Black.
Only
I'm mayoral black. I'm sorry. Here's my.
Only in Wilkinsburg will you be able to pull that. City cops probably won't give them a ticket.
Get your mayoral black ass out of here. No, but one thing though, the newly elected mayor Edgewood hit me up we got to get together.
I didn't even know
they got
Edgewood
their own
had a mayor
yes.
themselves.
They
What's
all
the
got
one
their own
neighborhood that's
mayor.
3 streets and has a mayor?
East Pittsburgh.
Is that East Pittsburgh?
It's
Yeah.
East Pittsburgh.
Yeah, East
I don't know who the
Pittsburgh.
mayor of East
That ain't
Pittsburgh
Turtle
is, but
Creek?
fuck them.
No, it's 3
Turtle
streets
Creek
and
has its own mayor.
It has its own
Fuck
mayor.
that.
Turtle
I don't know if I
Man,
want to
goodness.
be the mayor of Turtle.
You don't.
You
don't.
It just don't even sound cool on the resume.
I'm not laughing.
Not trying to
I
say
used to live
mayor
in
of
Turtle Creek,
Electric
so,
Avenue.
you know.
Like that shit only you get.
They got that random ass you
Mayor
go
Turtle. I
down
wouldn't
and
even
it's
tell
the train
motherfuckers
tracks.
I was the mayor of Turtle Creek. You got.
He said Electric Ave, though. That's
That's
one of
it.
them.
That's the only thing that you were the mayor of. That's the only.
Oh man.
Oh, ain't nothing shit popping in Turtle Creek except
Turtle
for that
Creek's
bar.
popping, man.
Yeah,
At least they
Forest
got a bar. We
Hills.
don't have bars in Wilkinsburg.
Y'all don't have bars
Yo,
in
We
Wilkinsburg?
Dry.
got Salvatore's. It's stopped
still
being dry.
dry?
So
Oh, is this-
Salvatore's has a bar. I swear, if we had 2 bars, it would make the difference. Everyone
So-
drinks.
So, yeah, no, everybody, and that's the thing because
Everybody
I live in a dry town, right? And it was up in Beaver or whatever, and it's the politics around it is crazy as hell. But like the economics is, and it's wild because most of the money in Beaver County is centered in Beaver, the actual like town of it or whatever. But there's no alcohol sales allowed or whatever.
Wow.
So it's hard to get a stronghold in that whole county because the majority of the money doesn't have access to any. Like I got to drive like 20, 25 minutes to get some like craft beer or whatever. That's not mass.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, I'm looking at it like the events and the money situation is like crazy amount of the income that could happen. But what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of old people dying. And then their kids are coming into these houses going, why the fuck can't I drink here? You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So, as mayor, is that something that, you are looking to, like try to cultivate or whatever?
Definitely. Because
and what benefits does that have? Because a lot of times alcohol, and that's the thing that all the old folks at Beaver are saying is like, oh, you bring this devil juice in, it's gonna be hookers and crime. So what are the benefits to having? You bring alcohol.
I ain't seen a hooker.
But
The
look,
streetwalkers, right? Yeah, I mean,
Man, they did that shit on
The
the internet
ladies
now.
of
They
the
got
night.
they have whole websites now. They have OnlyFans.
right? Like, so, like, what are the benefits of having more watering holes in your neighborhood, and how do you convince folks or even draw folks into a town?
Well, that's definitely a plan of mine because that's a lost revenue. Just think about how big Beaver is and the revenue that they can bring in just by alcohol sales when I'm not going to keep saying everyone drinks. A lot of people drink and they go to the neighboring place to drink. So you're giving money away instead of keeping it in your neighborhood. That's definitely a benefit. If there's 2, it could be, a nice little hit place. You could have one that's an alumni bar called the Tagger. And
He got
called
you
the Tagger.
you can't open this bar as the mayor. You do realize that,
I know
right?
that.
This can't
I
be
know
your
that,
bar.
but I'm
can't
trying to
be
get-
his bar.
I'm trying to give people ideas.
It could be her bar, though. Yeah,
Because it's a lost revenue
don't-
because we go right around the corner to Penn Hills, to Homewood, to
Right.
Point Breeze to go drink.
Or you won't get to drink.
Yeah, but it's like only place that you could drink is Salvatore's. I love Salvatore's, but that's not a friendly place to just go there and drink. Like I want to go there where there's like at least 3 old heads. That's just there all the time.
there.
You just say,
Yeah.
"What's up?" You feel safe because you know
Yeah.
no one's about to come in there and bra-ta-ta.
Yeah,
while
nah, with the
old
old
man
heads.
Sammy's
Yeah,
there. And
right.
everything. Like that is just a sense of being home.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lost revenue, and I'm going to make it happen.
Lost opportunity. It helps
Yes.
build community, and the economics of it are clear, right? If I take my check and go down the street, then the check stays in Wilkinsburg,
right.
Especially if Wilkinsburg ain't part of the city. So I mean, is it the perception of Wilkinsburg that stopped that, or what?
It's perception, and I definitely want to shout out to a lot of the recent businesses that we have seen open
Yes.
up in
Yes, a
Wilkinsburg
lot
over
of
the
businesses
past
been coming.
couple weeks. But it is a perception issue, and I also think it's a lack of just education. People aren't aware of what steps they need to take to come into the community, to open up businesses, and also. We are going through hard times. And so for also folks who are landlords and they're owning businesses, it's hard to keep, their spaces up. So where are those resources within the county that can support that? Where are the resources from the state that can support that? And, there's a lot of working parts to it. And, when we had a recent conversation in regards to who's responsible for what within Wilkinsburg. And, the folks who are supposed to really be supportive of our business district, it's not working. You know, the people, when people are reaching out and trying to figure it out or trying to get into some form of business, they don't even know where to go, and the help that they think they're going to get isn't happening. So that kind of support needs to be tightened up. So there is a go-to. Like, Dontae might not be the one to answer the question, but Dontae, who's already within the borough, can be like, oh, okay, this is someone you can speak to. This is someone you can talk to. These are the people that you need to get this paperwork from, because people need to be told how to do it. A lot of us don't know, and you can't do what you don't know. You can't do it.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know, and that's that's the biggest step. You know, everybody talks about your hard work and this, that, and the other. It's ultimately it's your network. Hard work. Yeah, hard work. You got to do work, but you got to have your network, and your network is going to give you that knowledge that you don't typically have. And when you fall on your ass, they're going to give you a bit of that support to help you get back or whatever. But I mean, most of the successful people I know, they just know shit that I didn't. I'm 40. I'm still trying to figure out how to balance a fucking checkbook. You know what I mean? So
they know how to get to
shout out to everybody that still balances checkbook.
Yeah.
Nah, don't shout them out. Hold on. Stop doing that shit.
My mama still balances.
Get your ass on the internet. All your transactions is there. Stop going to the teller talking about did check 748 come through? That shit came through 2 weeks ago.
Look online.
Look online.
And you'll go to online banking.
Pissing folks off.
That shit hit her. It's hurt.
What is the relationship and with the mayor, the police? That's a thing, right? Being black.
It was gonna happen.
It would be a black and having that position and whatnot. There's, I don't know what that authority is looking like or what that relationship is like. I know that sometimes it's coarse, sometimes it's in step or whatever. Like, what is that in Wilkinsburg?
It's definitely a relationship. I mean, the mayor's office is in the borough building, which is the police stations all in there. Yes, in the police station. So the mayor...
We use the same bathroom that folks who are in a holding cell use.
All together.
We got to get you out that bathroom.
Yeah.
We got to get you an ensuite. We got to take that $200 and put it towards an ensuite.
Right. Maybe more. Give you $550 a month. But yeah, so the Wilkinsburg mayor is in charge of the police budget, but not in charge of the police.
I was going to say, because there were recent situations where we found that maybe the influence wasn't quite what we thought. Like, do they spell that out for you when you take that? Like, is there any orientation to this?
There's no orientation, but you gotta know what you're getting into, because sometimes things are thought of like they'll think that I'll have the same responsibilities as Ed Gainey, when the world should be taught how a so-called weak mayor system is, where the council has the power. School board has the power, but the mayor is just the
influence. The
influence. I don't want to say a mascot, but it is that influence where it's, getting people, businesses to come into Wilkinsburg, getting people to believe in Wilkinsburg, getting Wilkinsburg to believe in itself, and to do all the checks and balances, making sure everything's put out there, all the information. Because that's I'm all about transparency this time.
Right.
So, whatever the council's voting on, I would let the people know. I would let the people know what the council voted, each person, and it
calling out names.
Yeah,
like,
because
this motherfucker over
without
here.
being disrespectful, because we work for the people, and the people need, just like in school, man. There's progress reports. There should be some type of progress reports, just so that people could know. Because even the people that's not paying attention should still be informed, because we work for them.
Yeah, I feel like that is a very important position to have that knowledge and to be able to share that, because as a community, and I think that's a part, we're not only just like trying to figure out how to bring a business in and whatnot, but also, how to be politically active or what's going on in the neighborhood. Right. A lot of times or even who makes certain decisions. Like, I don't know who that says what, where, how. Yeah, I'm like, well, this should be this way, and it's like, well, how do we get it that way? And I think a mayor, especially in the way that it's fashioned in Wilkinsburg, is a great position to be that person, that kind of liaison for the community to those positions of power, and speaking for the folks and saying, hey, this is what's going on here. Change needs to happen. Here's how you direct that energy. And showing up with some folks like, all right, this council meeting is a little bit more packed this time around.
Right. And that literally, like, that is, in a perfect world, that's exactly what a weak mayor system should look like, because you always want, like he said, when we talk about transparency and we want the people who have the power and they're making these choices that aren't benefiting the whole community, somebody got to pull up with him, because he can't do it by himself. And I mean, I can be loud. I told everybody, I want a feisty first lady, you're going to have one, but we're also just two people as well. So I encourage that kind of participation. Bring your questions, bring your conversations, but don't think that one person can be the answer to everything that we need.
I could be your advocate.
Right. Well, it seems like a perfect natural fit for you in this weak mayor system. It kind of really utilizes your strengths, right? You leverage your strengths, and then you can make that change. I want to shift gears and kind of talk about, Ashley, with you and your state rep run. First of all, what does a state rep do? Because I don't think anyone knows.
My goodness.
I don't know what a mayor does. I'm just going to act like
they rep the state,
which is crazy, right? I think it is that simple. I think it is that simple, but not that simple. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy. It's so crazy because, you know, even for me running for state rep, you know, like, no one knows everything. Even the people who are literally sitting in Harrisburg right now, writing policy and pushing legislation, they don't all know.
They lied on their resume. They lied about
that
the
meme where
experience.
dude's plugging the thing in.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we have a bunch of people in Harrisburg who aren't educated, but we got a lot of folks up there that it's scary. It's really scary what we have happening in our state legislature right now. So state representatives, they do a lot. And it's different now, the connections that I feel like we, even as a generation, have to looking at folks in state-held office, because now they're our friends. They're not our friends' parents or or grandparents in these seats. So, someone like Summer, who is actually my friend, not just because of politics, because we've grown up together, her and I can hop on the phone and have a conversation about what just went down up in Harrisburg. And I'd be like, what? Yes. They said God's going to fix COVID?
That's some real thing.
That's the real.
No, Tay and I have talked about starting a series about these conversations that you and the ladies have.
Yeah, because
we hear them.
We hear them. Yes. It's a little scary when you hear some of the conversations and the understandings of how things should work. State representatives name bridges. I don't know if there was there was a patch update that came up, and it was like the governor signed 5 bills, and 2 of them were the naming of bridges.
This is all about them trying to get a bridge. This whole shit happening on the
Comans
couch.
Bridge.
It's all about the Comans Bridge. Which bridge? Which bridge is y'all looking at? Birmingham. Y'all trying to rename the Birmingham? Is that in your district? I don't think that's in your district.
Curry's favorite. I'll trade you a bridge.
That is so funny.
Trade you a bridge for a vote.
You
gotta be talking to the higher folks. You're like,
hey man,
but literally, it's super important we have these kind of conversations, because the politics of a state legislator affects the state of Pennsylvania. You represent your district and you bring the issues of what your district is facing. But what happens here isn't just happening here. It's happening in Philly. It's happening in Erie. It's happening in Harrisburg. And so we bring those thoughts and ideas together, what's happening in our community and who's doing work that's fixing it. Then you pull folks, I love talking about Tammy Thompson and Catapult Greater Pittsburgh, because the work that's happening Tammy. There, love her. Like when we talk about home ownership, pulling people out of poverty, actually getting to the root causes of why people can't purchase a home, because when they go to these programs, they're not speaking our language. They're not talking to us in a way that we understand, and the issues that we got to overcome to get the approval on the house, to get the down payment that's needed once you get the approval, because it's an extra 10, you got to have 10,000 cash once you get the approval for the house. Those kind of conversations.
You got to know the resources that you can get to not have that 10K, because that's possible here too.
Yes. So when you know the work is happening in your community and then you hear what's happening across the state, like, oh, why don't we connect together? Okay, how does that look on policy? How does that look when we sit down and figure out how do we help every single Pennsylvanian have that access? So it is the responsibility of a state representative to be a liaison, but actually put the policy forward that is functional. And then another aspect to it that I want to bring up for folks, because I think it's really important too when we talk about, I've got my list of, things that I stand for, education. I am a big proponent of public education and the state funding system and how that works for our public schools. And what Pennsylvania is doing is very problematic. And that starts at the state. Our home public schools are facing issues because the state is allowing the business aspect and the privatization of education to take over instead of really wanting every single child to have a quality education, no matter where they live, what their zip code looks like. And that is scary for our babies and our babies' babies, because when we ain't here, when we are the old people, they're going to be the ones dealing with these decisions. So I just wanted to make that point. Secondly, Pennsylvania has a Republican-led state legislature. All of the committees that are run, your education, your local government, your there's a bunch of them. Your whatever each committee that you have within the state of Pennsylvania, the Republicans lead that. So when the conversations are happening in those meetings with those committees and what policy they're putting forth, they push that forward. I talked about this, and this had my stories popping on Instagram a couple weeks ago. That permitless carry, concealed carry law that passed in the Senate and the House. If we didn't have a Democratic governor to veto that would pass. And people be like, well, what did our state reps do? They can't do shit because they don't got the majority. The Republicans run that. So there's so much harm reduction that people are up in Harrisburg trying to do for our neighborhoods, because we can talk about community violence and we need to get the guns off the streets, but how they getting there in the first place? Because the access is easy, and we can't also sit here and think like, oh, someone said, well, what's their excuse? Well, we don't want people who have the permit and then they forget and then they're breaking the law because they forgot. Well, don't forget. That's how I feel. So we're going to change the law because somebody forgot to do what they were supposed to do, versus protecting everybody else and making sure that our communities that are suffering from other issues that create the violence, we're not violent because we violent. We violent because we surviving.
Yeah.
We violent because kids ain't eating.
Because you put all the people who trying to survive in the
one
same
concentrated area, in one concentrated school district that ain't getting the resources that they need. And then we expect a 15-year-old was in a mugshot for killing somebody, a high school student. These is babies with guns. Yeah. So those are the things that our state reps, not only are they going up there pushing their policy of like, we need a more healthy environment. Folks, asthma is affecting our community in disproportionate numbers. We don't talk about asthma, but how many of our babies got it? A lot of them. We personally as a family have dealt with a recent situation, and we don't talk about the asthma, and then we don't talk about the buildings that folks are living in that aren't being taken care of. So there's mold and other issues within those buildings that the people who live there ain't technically responsible for. The people who own it are responsible for, but then they're not able to fix it up for whatever reason. Some people are negligent. Other folks might not have the resources that may be needed. Those are the things that our state level government can be doing a better job focusing on. How do we keep these kind of the resources that are needed for homeowners, not businesses, but like people who have apartment buildings, like those type of folks. How are we making sure they get the access to the resources that they need so that they can keep a quality space of living for folks, so that then people aren't dealing with health issues because the house isn't safe. And then don't get me started on healthcare.
We didn't get you started on none of it.
There's so many things that at a state level we could be doing so much better. And so those are things that state representatives can be bringing the conversation forward, but we also have to understand how the power works up there too.
Access for everyone, not just the Comans, but the Womans and the Lowmans.
Okay. Oh, is that the bumper sticker?
I like that.
We got a little slogan, huh?
So I do like. So I think there are themes in that. So there's the education, like understanding, right? And I think we in our generation have become more politically astute, but we haven't worked in it long enough to know the who knows who and whose hand that needs to be shaken and all that. But we just kind of knocking on the door like, oh, we got all these issues and whatnot. And being able to speak up and kind of articulate what the issues are. So I feel like, and I want you to speak to this, are there two different languages you have to speak? So like when you're dealing with your colleagues, you got to speak a certain way versus I'm trying to get the community to rally behind it, right? Because we're sitting here with asthma, for example, and we know it's affecting us. We know that, there was a house, a leaseholder that I was doing some business for, and like they got shut down because mold or whatever, and then the people got displaced, and those things are happening, but we don't know to make noise. We don't know to be like, well, this is a community issue. We always internalize it like, well, this is what I'm dealing with, and I gotta figure out a way. So how do you, one, get the people that you work with to address it, and then also how do you get the folks that it affects to like research, understand, know, and do their part in kind of driving this home?
So I'm a true believer in, sometimes it's a matter of finding the person you trust that can bring you the information and then that guide you on like, call this person, email this person, give them this list. Right now we see a lot of that with social justice issues. When we're calling the governor of, what state was that? We was trying to get homie off of death row.
The Justin gentleman.
I can't forget what state that was, but because it happens so much. Yeah,
Minnesota,
Oklahoma.
I don't know.
One of them.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Julius Jones was his name.
Yeah, the victim looked real Dakotish.
Yeah, it might have been Dakota.
But that involved the calling of a bunch of folks, but we've got to do that for every issue, not just when we're talking about social justice. So, and it might not be call your state rep. It might be call your county council person. It might be call your city council person. It might be call your local mayor if you live in a municipality. And then those connections can then make a phone call to a state rep or a senator, or your council person can make these calls, and then you make a train. It's like a line of people, like, let them know you care about this, because if nobody call them, they can just keep on moving with whatever somebody else is in their pocket or in their ear about.
So how do you deal with fatigue, right? Because
especially when your partner is fatigued.
Because being woke and having being so active or whatever, it's and I suffer with it at times. Like there's times I'm super like all gun ho into it, and then I find myself just being like aggravated. Like I wake up aggravated all day. I'm just like, and then I'm like, you know what? I need to just back down a little bit. I need to focus on things that are a little bit more positive, because there's just so much negativity to focus on. There's just so much work to be done. And having, being in these positions, right? I mean, you guys are now in, professionally in these positions. Like, how do you cope with fatigue, and how do you find balance so that you're not just, constantly angry?
You have to learn to keep your workout work and your home at home. I know it's hard to do.
It is hard because when your home is affected COVID by your work, right?
Right. Yeah. But if you really have to, communicate, and you like you really can't just be mad all day about some work stuff. Then you mad at the home because of that. Like you have to realize these jobs, unless you run your own business, realize these jobs don't give a fuck about you. So don't give a fuck about that job.
But you can't do that. You're the mayor.
Well, no. I'm just talking about period. I'm talking about period. Not just that, but with a mayor, like you just can't let that outside world creep into your house. You can't let it stress you out. Like, I mean, do whatever you do to relax. You should talk. Especially that's why it's amazing. Like the best thing to do is when people ask you, "Hey, how was your day?" Like some people think it's just a conversational piece, but in reality, it could let you get everything out and
Oh, you telling folks how your day really is.
yeah, how was your day? Especially when you get home and you gotta take that cape off and hang it up. You gotta, be vulnerable and talk,
Yeah.
And I would like to add on to it like that. I will say the Comans are in need of a vacation. So that is definitely something that we try to do. Through the pandemic, I think we've been able to do like go up to Champion, get a little house with a couple friends, relax, eat good. Deep Creek, we are so thankful for our daughter. It made me think of, because right before the primaries with Dontae, we were really stressed out because it was a pretty gruesome race for him, especially for it to be such a local race. And we were literally in the kitchen. Was it the night before the election, singing kids songs with Bellamy in the kitchen? I think it was Wheels on the Bus. And we just found so much joy literally, committing our time to Bellamy in that moment. And just spending time. She was spending time with our loved ones. I think it's important that as much as we do this work, we also find time to find our joy, whether we are, kicking it at Boom or, we go and catch a show or, we put a movie on. Like we literally shut off, the actual work and focus on something that we can let loose on. Even if it's just we sit down and I watch Housewives or, just something that I don't got to think.
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
Work-life balance is important. I do find it interesting in your particular case because you're both, is it civil servants or whatever it is?
Public servants.
And so your work overlaps to an extent. So when you come home, like, is it going to be a situation where he's like, so what did you vote on today? It's like,
I mean, I guess
you dropped that clue that I needed you to drop. Did you send that letter? Did you send that email?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I'm more, as a person that isn't a professional politician, just somebody that just like cares about the community and whatnot. You go hop on. Yeah. I mean, you hop online and everything is, you could, if you want to, you could just delve into the issues of the world all day long. You could get lost. Yeah, I mean, you could worry about Wilkinsburg. You could worry about PA. You could worry about the Western America. You could worry about the shit in Africa. You could, I mean, like there's no shortage of shit.
Yeah.
I just try to figure out like
it's boundaries.
Like but also, again, being active. I don't want to completely shut off. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to like, just be completely consumed. So, I mean, I guess, maybe booking some more trips. I ain't having no kids. So, I mean, that's about, I'm not going to retreat into the, into the comfort of Wheels on the Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely at that stage of life where I'm losing people. There's no new people.
Yeah.
It's all losses at this point. I'm just subtracting, folks. It ain't no new nothing. And that's a sobering thought. Like, I really thought about that the other day.
Friends.
Like, you know what? It ain't going to be like no new people in my life. Like,
For a long time.
Same people with new outfits.
Yeah. Like, you just going to be going away.
It's going to be quality over
No.
quantity out this motherfucker. I need
It's
you to be a
super-
better person from
No,
now
that's-
on.
Important, man. You got to protect your energy.
Yeah.
Man. So,
And my ignore game is strong. Like I remember one time on school board, I had received a direct message, and it might have been at like 10:30 at night, and I saw it and I ignored it. And then the next morning I woke up and was tagged on Facebook. I'm very direct, so I made a phone call. And then I was untagged on Facebook because you've got to also let people know that
Boundaries.
first of all, it hasn't been 12 hours. So if you can't give me the courtesy of a day to give you a call back, but you want to tag me on Facebook, I'm now questioning what your intent is.
Oh, don't be in the public and you ain't even tap me on my line.
Right. Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Bruh.
And so it's
I mean,
also,
come
you got to
on.
let people know where you stand, because if you don't, then they are going to step into your space and keep doing it until you make it very clear. This is my line and I drew it.
Habitual
And
line steppers.
if you cross over it, we are going to have a serious conversation. conversation because at the end of the day, we're still human.
Right.
We're still people.
Right.
We have family. Things happen. You don't know what's going on in our personal lives that we haven't shared. And so grace goes a long way.
I always assume if I hit you up and you'll respond, you beefing with whoever you with. I know if me and wifey ain't seeing eye to eye, I don't really want to talk to nobody. I don't want you calling me talking about what you and your wife just did with the fun trip. I can't even go to my bedroom comfortably right now.
Hey, dog, what Jay-Z said, bro. Me and my wife beating, I don't go nowhere.
Nowhere. Like
I don't care if my house on fire.
Because nothing good happened. You can't go chill at the bar and you beefing with wifey because now you just drinking mad. You just an angry drunk. You drinking everything straight.
Yeah, no, my ignore game is also fairly strong. It ain't even been like, it's not. It started out as like as a safe space, be like, because I used to answer the phone all the time and just answer everything no matter what. And then it got like, all right, well, I can't work 24/7 because if you want to, you can, And then it just like, and then with the pandemic and whatnot, now, man, I don't even know how to answer the phone anymore at this point. I'm starting to. I
want to be what up, Doug?
Yeah.
Yo, I was talking today about this the other day. I don't know how to add, like, I don't know how to link with nobody. It's like, I feel like I'm asking my niggas on dates now. Like,
I don't know how to start emails or text messages.
Like,
hey, bro, how's it going?
Yeah. Come on, reach out to your friend since the pandemic and be like, let's hang out, but you don't quite know your friends, like politics or where he or she stands with it. You throw the feeler out there. So I had text my man, like, yo, what you up to? I'm trying to watch this fight. And he was like, oh, it's a fight tonight. And he's like, oh, that's what's up. Well, I normally stream it. And I'm like, you ain't seeing? I'm trying to kick it. Like, I'm trying to go out. I don't want to ask you out, bro. Like,
that is super hard.
I don't want to come to your crib.
I want to go out. Like, I would like to go somewhere and be an adult because I'm in the house all the time. You gotta say,
hey, where they watching the...
Where
they playing the fight at?
I did.
He said, I'm at the crib.
He said he gonna stream it.
It's hard.
Trying to figure out where...
the herd's gonna be at Soldy. You want to go?
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, that is a weird
ask him
out. Then you got to figure out everybody's politics and who you've been breathing on. Like that's
where you been?
Like, oh, his breath for everybody.
His breath's for
I mean, like you
in the street.
I mean, you out here breathing in the streets like with anybody. Like
I do look at people a little different. They got too many photos from trips.
I'm like,
it's March of 20.
All the arms around
strangers. It's a whole. I'm like, I mean, it's weird
around you
because it's like when you had a friend that you became a roommate with and you got a little too close and what you was doing before we moved in didn't affect me, but now you out here leaving sandwiches on the counter and shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it's the same thing with the breathing and whatnot. It's like it brought us all closer. Like I kind of got to know how you've been handling yourself in these streets if I'm going to invite you to my face.
Yeah.
What's
your circle?
Well, I'm gonna pause that on the strength. Just on the strength.
Like I gotta do some research. I gotta keep up with you on Instagram.
Like I'm gonna have to pause that.
It's a weird. I ain't have to care about what you was doing.
Well, there's sometimes you don't even post. I'm not posting this.
It was too much.
This is too much.
I'm looking crazy out here.
You know what?
It's to the point I take pictures for personal.
I should have.
Bro, I got a whole stream of shit that just ain't make the now. I'm like, all right.
I ain't gonna be looking at me funny. There's a lot of people in this photo. A lot of people in this photo.
It's hard. And thinking about campaigning, like that's a real question with campaigning because it just looks so different. We talk about it all the time. Like I remember when we were on the campaign trail when I ran for school board the first time. It was so fun. Like when you get involved, and I tell people this all the time for anyone listening, you're like, well, how do I do it? Show up. If you see somebody you rock with and they doing something and they doing a campaign, show up. All hands are needed. On any campaign, it don't even have to be for a candidate, for an issue-based campaign. If there is something that you are dedicated in, we've been talking about water. There is someone doing the work and they can use your help. But the things that bring people together, and then you're around like-minded people, you can have those kind of conversations that you learn from, you understand like what you're impacted by, what I'm impacted by. And then you learn that don't happen the same now.
Yeah, no, I mean that interaction where you just happen to have spontaneous, like creative thoughts and collaborations. That shit, because it don't happen when you have to schedule somebody 2 weeks later for a fucking Zoom interview. Because that Zoom call or whatever the fuck it is, that meeting, everybody's just waiting to fucking get out. You're dreading it until you get on, and then you're on it and you're just like,
this shit ain't over.
You're literally like,
can I hit the button? Like,
do I have to be on camera?
Yeah, right.
If a nigga asks you that, you don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there.
I ain't had a Zoom interaction that I was looking forward to.
It's been a while.
Ever. I don't know if I've ever. Yeah, I mean, like it's just not a, and it's wild because I mean a lot of what we do is entertainment and networking and event building and community building, and so much of that community building is lost when you're not just, and you don't even need to be meeting up for that purpose. Just hanging out for a little while. Those networking events, that's crazy. I used to look at those networking events when I, like, back in the day and be like, oh, this is some bullshit. We just go there, like, eat some hors d'oeuvres and, like, awkwardly.
Now give me the networking event.
Yo, right? Like, now, like, but then you start to see you're just in those rooms. And I tell people that all the time. And it's weird now, like, giving that advice. But, like, just being in the rooms, like you said, just connecting with like-minded individuals and having those, like, so much of that pops up that and it's just lost these days.
And then they bring metaverse. Like, I'm scared.
Oh, that's...
I'm
scared.
I
heard someone just bought some land in metaverse for like $2.4 million.
I don't even know what that is. That's how I know I'm about done with everything. I'm past
that's Facebook's
aspect,
virtual reality.
And now I need to tighten up whatever it is that I've learned in the last 40 some years and just like make that work for me because metaverse, it's too big for me. What the fuck is metaverse?
I feel like I'm not gonna be able to talk to my kid in about 10
years.
years.
It's the alternate
you
reality.
Said they bought land in metaverse? What the fuck is
you
metaverse?
gotta worry about if they're talking about meeting in the real world or they're meeting in a red metaverse.
I've been telling people for years, we not gonna have phones anymore. They're gonna call you and they gonna hologram gonna pop up in front of you, and it's just niggas will be walking down the street talking to holograms.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
To ignore the calls.
You can't, or they gonna see you ignoring them.
When I die, but she fucked my hologram. You know what I mean? That's some wild. That's some wild shit.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask before we go, how important is it to you all that you all look the way you do? Meaning you're in politics now, but you look like people that I've been hanging out with for years. I mean, you got on your Ivy Park, you always got on a pair of Jordans, and you don't typically associate like pop culture or, hip hop culture with the political atmosphere, but like we are the generation that we are like the thing. We the mid 30s, you know what I'm saying? We the early 30s, we the people with the children where we got to look at the school district. I mean, like it's our world now basically.
Yeah.
And politics don't have to look like a dude who's buttoned up. You don't have to look like Governor Tate from Power and shit like that. Like, and I would prefer you not. I would prefer you not, because now I feel like I could approach you and ask you questions.
Yeah.
And it also gives me like, yo, I can be involved with it. I could be a part of it, or I can look like me and be well versed in this. Like it's so. How important do you think it is that it's moving in that direction?
That was the most important thing for me. Like, no matter what Lil Wayne said at base, ain't got on no suits because we ain't trying to be presidents.
Yeah,
but just meeting people where they're at, just to see a nigga named Dontae is about to be a mayor who looks just like everyone else, just to inspire that kid to be like, you know what, I want to be a mayor or something like that, just something in the community, because we've always been shamed by older people. Like, oh, right. You don't got a suit on, you don't got to put your, like, I was at my cousin's wake, and his mom's ex-boyfriend was like, I was like, you suited and booted. He's like, man, that's what we do. You pay respect. You got to wear your suit. I was like, suck my dick. But
well, not at the wake.
No, I'm saying, no, I wouldn't say that there. But don't dare try to say that representing someone and showing love to someone,
right,
is in a suit.
This is what I kicked it with him in.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't want to tell him that, but that's just in my mind. I thought it's just burnt. Like you can't like shame people for how they look. Because when I first started, a lady said that to me. Man, I had my t-shirt on and my denim. I'm out there passing out, literature for myself, while also trying to get people to sign up for Wilkesburg's football team and cheerleader. She was like, well, you don't look like somebody I would vote for. And I'm just like, that's why, don't judge a book by its cover. Talk to me. You know,
And you lost.
and see where
I
I'm
can say
about.
you lost, bitch. I don't know you, but you lost.
But you lost. It's all lost in the south.
There's a generational change that is happening, whether people are ready for it or not. Our generation, and I tell people this all the time, millennials, we aren't babies anymore. We are turning 40.
Right.
You know, we aren't the ones who are like, oh, those college kids. Like, no, those college kids are not us. We look at them and be like, oh,
I
are we
got
that
a couple
crazy?
college
These
kids
niggas is
right
tongue
now.
kissing.
And
so
I think what's really important for me, it's important to be relatable and also understanding there's a time and place for everything. Don't get me wrong. I go to Harrisburg. I'm not going up to Harrisburg with an Ivy Park sweatsuit on. But please believe when you see me back at home, I will have an Ivy Park drop, whatever just was, because I love Beyonce and that's me. I'm true to that. I've been true to that. And I think it's important for young people to see that. I'm ready for the day to be like, you like Beyonce? And I'll be like, yeah, girl, you don't. Because they'll look at that and be like, that's old. But for us, that's what we are used to. And that's about building that trust and that relatability.
Right.
Because we have to quit putting ourselves in these boxes because about who's qualified because of how you look. We're qualified because of our experiences that we bring to the conversation that other people can't do because they didn't live our lives. And so not only should my words show that, my presence should show that because it's who I am. And I tell Dontae this all the time. If I ever have to change being Ashley Renee Comans, I ain't doing it no more because that's not me. I didn't get in this to show up and be what other people want me to be. I do this because I love my community and I love the people that I live around, and I want everybody to have what is best for them. And so if they see me doing what works for me, I want them to be empowered in doing what works for them.
And if that
I love myself. I don't know how to
if that turncoat ass, what is it, chick out in Arizona, Kristen Cinema, whatever, I mean, that be doing all the fuck shit. Her and Joe Manchin that be doing all the fuck shit. I mean, if she can show up in jean vests and leopard prints, and that shit ain't even cool outside of the building.
It's hot as hell there.
Yeah, it's hot as shit. She in there in a jean vest. Who's wearing jean vests?
Probably her constituents.
Denim vest.
Her
And
constituents.
leopard prints. Like, if she can show up and, do shit like that, man, I don't see any problem with showing up to Harrisburg or some Ivy Park. At
you
least,
know what? There are some suits, so I take
You
that
see what I'm
back. I sure will rock an Ivy Park suit. You right.
I've been seeing some fuck shit happening.
You right. I did
Work your way into endorsement.
Look,
Right?
you know what?
You know what I mean?
I did just see a piece. I was like, I want that
Right?
one.
I mean,
there.
Sorry, we ain't mean to spend your money, bro. We done got you. So, as a fellow husband, I should have
Hey,
seen
she
that
ordered herself
coming.
down too. So, I mean, I just dropped a check
It's
on this.
cool. A shoe for me, a suit for you. Yeah,
Yes.
Nah, I love it, man. I love it. So let the people know where they can find you, where they can support your campaign, where they can support you in your new role. Start with you, Tay.
You can support me by, hit me up on Facebook, Dontae Comans, or Dontae Comans for Wilkesburg Mayor. IG is just straight Tay Comans. You can always check me out, ComansForChange.com. Man, we started this political organization to help people who's scared to run because the first thing you think about is money. And why worry about that when you got the heart? So,
Money
check us
ain't
out.
real.
Yeah, money's not real. Not at all. Not at all. But, find me. And you can, if you're around Wilkesburg, you see me, say, what up, though? Holla at me. I'm here. I'm for the people. I'm trying to be with the people, not run the people.
My boo. I love him. So for me, y'all can follow me on all social media platforms. It is my name, Ashley R. Comans, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, I'm running for statewide office. So that also means I need to raise money. So you can also find that Act Blue link at ashleyforpa24.com, and all the links in my bio on my social media will take you there.
All right, they let the people know where they can find us. A far less important group of links.
Yeah, man. I mean, we ain't doing much but telling some jokes down at Cinderlands, the Photo House. You can catch us. Jokes and jokes. Barrelandflow.com/tickets, man. Get them tickets, $20. You know what I mean? Very intimate affair. Get your vaccines, get your boosters. And if you're looking for us Online, you can find us at epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play,
Googleable,
and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
Hey, listen, we want to thank those affectionately known as the Comans for coming in, breaking us back into this podcasting thing, but also for being who you are, man. It's important.
Honored.
It's important to see folks who are representative of the community represent the community. And if you haven't listened to this episode and seen their passion, then I don't know what the fuck you're listening to. Also, I think it's really dope that your mayor is quoting Lil Wayne block his hot lips. I don't think a lot of people caught that. We gotta understand that Lil Wayne has a GOAT case because he's been dropping albums since he was 15. Yeah. And the support, I mean, just how you two support each other, love each other, it's beautiful to see, man. And you know, we trying to do something over here with Drinking Partners. So make sure you support us, man. You're gonna see a lot of shit dropping from us. You know, we got the Cinderlands series going right now, so get your tickets because they're going fast. Look out for other announcements. And as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family, and we out of here.
Epicast, we're for the children.
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's any children in Epicast. we got brought on. It was like, y'all bringing kids? Oh, y'all niggas got kids. We try to make sure that our guests enjoy. You all got a good story, easy to talk to. It's always fun.
It's nice that it was an easy, like, oh man.